要再问男生为啥2025年男生不舔了。
Don't wonder why boys won't be simp anymore by 2025. Let me tell you, boys have woken up now. This is a sign they've directly changed the rules of dating. Before, boys would travel across provinces to pursue girls, showering them with gifts and giving them their entire salary. Now they choose a middle ground for dates, eat, and then go their separate ways. Except for paying the bill to maintain a semblance of gentlemanly conduct, everything else is equal. If you talk about giving, he'll immediately ask what you'll offer in return. If you say he's freeloading, he'll ask if you're on a serious blind date or if you can be bought. Now, men are collectively lying flat. They're not going on blind dates anymore, and gold diggers are panicking. Shanghai socialites are trending for group buying at 30% off, and Hangzhou luxury good resellers are directly reselling secondhand bags. Before, they relied on self-promotion and tricks to make men their ATMs. Now, the boys are simply not doing that anymore. They've realized that spending money on women doesn't guarantee appreciation, but spending money on themselves is incredibly satisfying. Those gold diggers haven't woken up yet, but the truth is, these guys are no longer willing to be simps and are starting to pay for themselves. In recent years, holidays like Valentine's Day, Qixi Festival, Christmas, birthdays, and anniversaries have gradually evolved into love consumption traps, forcing men to passively invest. Young men, especially those earning less than $1,400 a month, are finding it increasingly difficult to cope with wave after wave of holiday demands. A survey indicates that 85% of men are proactively reducing dating-related spending, prioritizing basic living costs such as rent, transportation, and food. Emotional spending is taking a back seat, and high-quality singlehood is becoming a more widely accepted lifestyle.
现在的男生们都已经觉醒了。
Guys these days have woken up. Some girls during the dating process ask for gifts and money transfers. Which man wants to be a sucker now? They'll run away as soon as they see you. Try it if you don't believe me. It's not a matter of whether they have money or not. Even if they were rich, if you feel you're a risk, the relationship will eventually end. So girls, don't think that money grows on trees. Don't start by asking for this and that. If he's really pretending to be clueless, there's only one reason. He's not interested in you. Don't worry about it anymore. Just leave so that you can keep a little dignity.
我告诉你，现在的男生都不傻的。
Let me tell you, men these days aren't stupid. On the contrary, they're incredibly clear-headed. How clear-headed? When it comes to meals, he'll suggest splitting the bill. When getting a marriage certificate, he'll make you check your premarital medical records. Even when it comes to marriage, he'll still ask about your savings. Before, you'd say men pursue women. Now, if a man doesn't pursue me, I have to actively pursue you. Before, if you dated for a year or two, a guy might not even dare to hold hands. Now, if you haven't committed to a relationship after 3 dates, he's already moved on to the next one. The blogger says that in the past, men had to prepare a house and a car for marriage. Women didn't need to prepare anything. But now it's different. The situation has changed. In many places, women are required to prepare a dowry, and a small dowry is unacceptable. If the man buys a condo for marriage, many men nowadays won't easily agree if the woman wants to add her name to the property deed. They've realized that being single, spending their own money, and traveling wherever they want, isn't that a good life? Times have indeed changed. Men no longer solely bear the burden of family responsibilities. Therefore, women should face reality before choosing a partner. The era of men unconditionally being subservient to women and spending their money for women is entirely over. Men today are increasingly unwilling to be manipulated and have started to prioritize their own needs, and this trend is growing stronger every day. In the past, people always complained that men were less valuable than dogs in the consumer market. But according to recent consumer data, since 2023, men have surpassed women in online spending across all categories, especially in menswear, digital products, cars, fishing, and camping. Men's purchasing power is simply insane. They spend money without batting an eye. The blogger says that men today aren't stupid anymore. They've shifted from showering women with money to prioritizing their own well-being and spending money on themselves. Take this year's Qixi Festival, Chinese Valentine's Day, for example. In previous years, people would rush to buy flowers and chocolates, keeping stores incredibly busy. But this year, sales plummeted. Even a 2-quarter bouquet of roses went unsold. In the past, let alone Qixi, Valentine's Day, National Day, Labor Day, Capitalism packaged every holiday into a frenzy where men must spend money on women. There were also outrageous topics like the first milk tea of the autumn and the first grilled sausage, all hyped up online, forcing men to open their wallets. Even if there was no actual holiday, capitalism would create one with only one purpose: to empty men's pockets and make them pay for women. Nowadays, not dating has become one of the cheapest ways for guys to save money. I have a friend like that, almost 30 years old, still single, and he has $43,000 in savings. I asked him why he didn't go looking for a girlfriend. He said, "This amount of money isn't enough at all." A while ago, he was hoping to find a younger girl, thinking that girls in the age group might not be so materialistic. But all he got was a demand for money, including cash gifts and meals. If he didn't spend money, she said he wasn't sincere. If he didn't buy her anything, she said he was trying to freeload. One day costs at least $800, plus all the holidays, birthdays, and little surprises to prepare. The friend told the blogger that if he spent money and the girl gave him a positive response, at least he felt hopeful, and the money was worth it. But the problem is, the girl keeps saying she's slow to warm up and needs to think about it, which is basically implying he should keep throwing money at her. So he said, "Let whoever wants to be that sucker be the one. I'm not doing it again."
我那天看到一个词把我惊了一下。
I saw a term the other day that startled me. New era independent men. Yes, new era independent men. We've heard of the term female awakening, right? Now it's male awakening, and there's a large-scale awakening among men in China right now. New era independent men refers to those who are very successful but choose not to marry, preferring to live a life of leisure. They'd rather spend their money on themselves, hanging out with friends, enjoying good food, movies, hiking, and other outdoor activities than choose marriage. The blogger says that many men now feel that once they get married, they have to desperately save money to buy a condo and a car, and also pay a large bride price. Marriage doesn't bring happiness, it might lead to sudden poverty. Because of this, times have changed, and men's mindsets have changed accordingly. In 2024, the Ministry of Civil Affairs reported only 6.1 million marriage registrations, a 40-year low. Many well-known matchmaking platforms have female users accounting for as much as 80%. The matchmaking corner in Chengdu's People's Park even posted a notice that all spots for women were filled, including a collective aversion to marriage among men.
不要去做一个供养者。
Men should never become providers. In a woman's eyes, there are two types of men, providers and lovers. What is a provider? It's when a woman doesn't love you, but she loves your money, so she'll try every means to get your money from you. Providers generally fall into three categories. The third type is extremely tragic, and I'll explain it to you in detail. First, before you've won her over, the woman will keep you hanging on. Because women have these little tricks, she knows you're willing to spend money and go all out when you're pursuing her, so she'll create all sorts of illusions for you. The blogger says there's another situation. You finally win her over, but find that the relationship needs to be maintained with money, buying her bags, clothes, and shoes, and all sorts of expenses. Before long, she'll start making excuses like her mother is sick or she can't pay the rent, finding all sorts of reasons to get you to spend money. One guy earned $4,300 a month, but one month he spent $7,100 on his girlfriend. But the moment you run out of money or don't want to spend money anymore, this girl will leave you immediately. Therefore, guys must stay rational and clear-headed. It's never too late to invest in a relationship, only when you meet a girl who truly wants to build a life with you. Guys in Dongguang, listen to my advice. If your family's financial situation is average, your monthly salary isn't high, and you're over 26, when it comes to pursuing a girl and finding a partner, you must find a reliable girl who can provide a stable and long-term relationship with you. What do you need to do? Don't wait for her to spend money on her. What money do you spend? You only earn so little. Girls who are after your money won't even look at you. For simple meals, shopping, or chatting, if the expense exceeds $40, let's not go. Believe me, there are many girls with average financial conditions in the dating market, and a girl who likes you won't let you spend too much money. The blogger says that in relationships, we shouldn't be liars, but we also shouldn't be suckers. What we can do is to give and interact within our means. No man in the city would be foolish enough to use his and his parents' hard-earned money to marry a woman who has nothing. Some women need to understand that the essence of blind dates is a fair exchange where both parties put their conditions on the table. If you demand a condo, a car, a bride price, and a certain height from a man in the city, that's fine. No one will criticize or look down on you. But the premise is that you have corresponding conditions that can attract men in exchange, such as being young and beautiful, having a stable job in the city, and having a considerate personality. If you have nothing or no conditions that men care about, don't blame people for saying you're ungrateful. The urban market is inherently realistic. No one wants to be a sucker. Men are starting to collectively give up. The 3 essential items for pleasing women in the past, perfume, lipstick, and a handbag, have seen dismal sales figures in recent years. Even the most beauty-conscious women of yesteryear are reluctant to spend money on makeup anymore. Only now do I understand why Sephora's business in China is so dismal. This November, while social media sales grew by 3%, cosmetics consumption plummeted by 26.4% year-on-year. As the main consumers in China, wealthy women are starting to downgrade their spending, not only saving on themselves, but also cutting back on daily household expenses wherever possible. The winter of the cosmetics market has arrived. Have you noticed? The beauty industry seems to have pressed the slow down button. Sales of previously best-selling lipsticks and eyeshadows have started to plummet. This isn't an illusion. The data doesn't lie. Recently, the National Bureau of Statistics released data on total retail sales of consumer goods in November 2024. Among the data, cosmetics retail sales were 6.2 billion, a year-on-year decline of 26%. Not only that, companies both domestically and internationally have felt the chill. In November of this year, Unilever, a national daily chemical giant, announced that it would lay off 7,500 employees worldwide. Procter & Gamble's high-end skincare brand's online flagship store also ceased operations. In December, most physical clothing stores experienced a precipitous drop. Many women said they had never been this bad in their entire careers in the clothing industry. Even those whose sales had always been stable are now starting to panic. Many are now desperately holding on, pinning their last hopes on January and December. If sales continue this sluggish for the next 2 months, many people will likely give up entirely this winter. As for when we should clear out our winter clothing stock and whether we should even stock up on down jackets, we all know the answer. Winter clothing sales haven't really started yet. Temperatures will definitely drop and winter will definitely come, but when? Nobody can predict. Sisters, let me tell you about my December sales. I'm embarrassed to admit it, but as of today, my sales are only $910. Today is the 13th, and I haven't made a single yet. I've already had 0 sales for 3 days this month, and this is December. There are only 2 months left until Chinese New Year. The blogger said that at this time last year she could earn $7,100, but now she's probably only making about $1,400 a month. The difference is outrageous. How could business suddenly plummet like this? This year's National Day holiday was outrageous. How much did everyone do? I just sat there and checked, and from the first to today, my sales were only $530, which averages out to about $75 per day. Can you believe it? These sales are more than half lower than the same period last year. The blogger said that during the National Day holiday, the store was almost empty, deserted, and they didn't know where everyone had gone. Nobody buys clothes when it's hot, and nobody buys clothes when it's cold. Do people stop wearing clothes these days? The clothing industry is supposed to have a golden September and silver October, but this should be the peak season, yet it's turned into the off-season. If this continues, the clothing industry may never have a peak season again. Actually, Chinese men should have woken up long ago, should have learned to love themselves long ago, right? Just like those girls make themselves look refined, right? Get a cool haircut, do your eyebrows, right? Learn makeup, buy yourself a good pair of glasses, buy yourself 2 smart suits, and make sure the clothes underneath are made of velvet or pure cotton. Girls love themselves enough, so why don't you love yourself enough? Why do you give money to them to spend? What kind of society is this now? Nobody binds their feet anymore. The money you earn should be spent on yourself. First, package yourself. Remember me. When you become an excellent person, especially when your appearance is excellent enough, refined enough, those people will actually tremble when they talk to you. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.